Using a false claim that Polish forces had attacked a German radio station, Nazi Germany launched a so-called retaliatory attack on Poland, triggering the start of World War II. After quickly defeating the Polish army, the Nazis began a brutal campaign against the Polish population, whom they saw as racially inferior. In the weeks following the invasion, German SS, police, and military units executed thousands of Polish civilians, including nobles, clergy, and members of the intelligentsia. The situation was especially horrific in and around the city of Danzig, where both Polish and Jewish residents faced forced Germanization, ethnic cleansing, and mass murder. Tens of thousands, especially Jews, were humiliated, tortured, deported, and eventually murdered in concentration camps. Within just 3 months, the region was declared Judenfrei, free of Jews, by the local Nazi leader, Albert Forster. Albert Maria Forster was born on July 26, 1902, in Fürth, then part of the German Empire. The youngest of 6 children, he studied locally before leaving school in 1920 with a lower secondary certificate. He worked at a bank from 1922, but his political activities soon drew attention. In November 1923, he joined the Nazi Party and became head of the party's local branch in Fürth. He also joined the SA, the Nazi paramilitary force, and actively spread anti-Semitic propaganda. His actions led to his dismissal from the bank in 1924. He soon began writing for Der Stürmer, a viciously anti-Semitic weekly newspaper, and developed a close friendship with its publisher, Julius Streicher. When the Nazi Party was temporarily banned in 1924, Forster served as chairman of a nationalist organization in Fürth. He also attended the trial of Adolf Hitler and other participants in the failed beer hall putsch. When the party was legalized again in 1925, Forster rejoined and later became a member of the SS in 1926. Over the next few years, Forster climbed the Nazi ranks. In 1930, he was elected to the Reichstag, and just 1 month later, at only 28 years old, he was appointed Gauleiter of the Free City of Danzig, now Gdańsk, Poland, replacing Arthur Greiser. This sparked a rivalry between the two, as locals saw Forster as an outsider. He quickly tightened his grip on power through propaganda and intimidation. By 1933, the Nazis had taken full control of Danzig's government. On January 30, 1933, Adolf Hitler became Chancellor of Germany. Although Forster remained Gauleiter, Greiser regained influence and became president of the Danzig Senate. In 1934, effectively the city's head of state. In May 1934, Forster married Gertrud Deetz in a formal ceremony attended by Hitler and Rudolf Hess, a devoted Hitler loyalist. Forster published a book in 1935 titled How I Experienced Hitler. A later U.S. intelligence report noted rumors of Forster's homosexuality, suggesting his nickname Bubi was commonly used among German homosexual circles at the time. Throughout the 1930s, Forster worked to fully integrate Danzig into the German Reich. Though the city was mostly German-speaking, it remained politically independent due to the Treaty of Versailles. Acting on Berlin's orders, Forster pushed aggressive propaganda for reunification with Germany, claiming Poland will be only a dream. On August 23, 1939, just days before Germany invaded Poland, Forster officially replaced Greiser as Danzig's head of state. The Nazi regime cited Danzig as one of the justifications for its invasion. Forster made no secret of his racist views. He referred to Jews as a dirty and slippery race and expressed a desire to rule over Polish lands. After their population was removed, when Germany invaded Poland on September 1, 1939, Forster was appointed Gauleiter of the new Reichsgau, Danzig-West Prussia, and made Reich governor of the region. This gave him total control over both the Nazi Party and civil administration. Hitler tasked Forster and Greiser with turning their regions into purely German territories. By any means necessary, Forster ruled like a king, promising that his area would be fully Germanist within 10 years. He oversaw horrific policies aimed at that goal, openly calling for the extermination of Jews and Poles. "We have to wipe out this nation starting from the cradle," he declared. Roughly 70 detention and transit camps were set up, where civilians were tortured and murdered. Women and girls were often raped before being killed. In September 1939, Forster ordered the immediate removal of Jews, Polish clergy, and anyone deemed politically or racially undesirable. He even scolded officials in Greiser for not killing enough Poles. One of the worst atrocities occurred in the forests near Pianica, where between 12,000 and 16,000 people, Poles, Jews, Czechs, Kashubians, and even Germans, were executed between 1939 and 1940. At a rally in nearby Wejherowo, Forster incited violence, declaring, "We must kill the lice-infested Poles, starting with the babies." The crowd responded with chants of death to the Poles. The killings were later carried out by ethnic German militias. Forster was eventually held responsible for these crimes by the Polish National Tribunal in Gdańsk. His hatred of Jews was equally extreme. At the war's outbreak, he stated, "Jews are not human and must be exterminated like vermin. Mercy is a crime." Thousands were either shot or deported. By November 1939, Danzig-West Prussia was declared Judenfrei. Historians estimate that up to 30,000 Jews were murdered under Forster's rule. Unlike Greiser, who focused on mass killings and expulsions, Forster pursued a strategy of forced Germanization. He reclassified tens of thousands of Poles as ethnic Germans if they were seen as racially suitable. This put him at odds with Heinrich Himmler, head of the SS, who accused Forster of undermining Nazi racial policies. But Forster, confident in Hitler's support, dismissed Himmler's complaints. In private, he mocked Himmler's appearance, saying, "If I looked like Himmler, I wouldn't talk about race," because of his reclassification policies. 2/3 of the Polish population in his region were labeled German. While this meant fewer deportations than in other regions, the brutality persisted. By war's end, an estimated 60,000 people had been murdered in Danzig-West Prussia, and between 35,000 and 170,000 had been expelled. By February 1940 alone, 87,000 had been forcibly evacuated. In December 1941, Forster was promoted to SS Obergruppenführer, the equivalent of a U.S. Army lieutenant general. Despite growing tensions within the Nazi leadership, he maintained full control over his region until the end of the war, that is, Soviet forces closed in. Forster remained in Danzig until March 1945. He then traveled to Berlin to inform Hitler that Danzig was no longer defensible. Hitler disagreed. "He told me he would save Danzig," Forster later recalled. Still, Forster fled the city days later, disguised as a regular soldier. In May 1945, he was captured by British forces in Hamburg. In August 1946, he was extradited to Poland, first imprisoned in Warsaw and later transferred to Danzig. His trial began on April 5, 1948, and lasted nearly a month. Forster was found guilty of mass murder, crimes against the Polish people and Jews, and theft of property. He was sentenced to death, though he begged for clemency. Writing appeals to Polish authorities and prominent Europeans, his execution was only delayed, not prevented. On February 28, 1952, Albert Forster was hanged in Warsaw. He was 49 years old. His wife, who last heard from him in 1949, was not informed of his death until 1954. Thanks for watching the World History Channel. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell icon so you never miss an episode. We'll see you next time.